So Sarah and I are teaching a retreat this winter, and leading up to that retreat, we're going to be doing some live Instagram little tastes of how we work and how we think and the kinds of things that we do. Hi, Sarah.
Hi.
Can you hear me okay? I'm just doing a sound check.
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay. I need to turn you up a little bit. So, it's Sunday. It's a good day to take a break, take a breather, slow down a little bit. Now, we've called our retreat the Arts of Sacred Intimacy. I suggested to Sarah that I'll start with a short practice, which will get people to slow down and kind of tune into the magic of who we are. But this stuff is not difficult, and it's not rocket science. My hope is that if you come to the retreat, you as a couple will learn some things that will help you to sustain intimacy. And that doesn't just mean sexual intimacy. It means knowing each other, seeing each other, hearing each other, being able to support each other to be more than you can imagine who you are. So one of these simple little techniques is a breathwork exercise. So I'll ask you right now to, if you're sitting solo, just stay tuned to me. If you're as a couple, then sit facing each other. Roll your shoulders back a little bit. Tuck your chin so that when we tuck our chin, a couple of things happen. One is the back of our neck gets long, and so we're basically allowing the free flow of basically blood, spinal fluid, and from a yogic perspective, prana, to move between the base of our spine and the crown of our head. So again, tuck your chin a little bit, but also opens up the chest. It lifts the chest, lifts the heart a little bit, opens up the chest. So again, just roll your shoulders a bit. Sitting tall, you can be sitting in a chair. If you are sitting on the couch, it's a little harder because there's not so much support there, but just make sure you maintain a nice straight spine. Now the point here is not to get rigid, but to be firm. So I'm going to make this point a lot in the teaching is, and especially for those of us who are masculine identified, is to bring firmness, not rigidity, but firmness, commitment to whatever our practices are. So right now, I want all of you, masculine and feminine identified, to bring attention to your spine. Let your pelvis get heavy, sitting into whatever chair, couch, cushion, floor you're sitting on. Just lifting your spine a little bit out of that pelvis, tucking your chin to lift and open the chest. I'm just going to get my timer here. This is going to be a short practice. We're just going to do this for 3 minutes. And what I want you to do is to first close your eyes and focus on that brow, the brow point between your eyes, so that your eyes are actually feeling a little bit of discomfort, and that just lets you know that you're actually stimulating the pituitary gland, which is the master gland in the endocrine system. So you're focused on that brow point. Just bring your breathing, slow it down, breathing through the nose, inhaling, letting your belly get nice and big and round. And then as you exhale, drawing your navel towards your spine. And now I want you to bring your right thumb to block your right nostril, and your other fingers are pointing straight up. Right thumb blocking your right nostril, your other fingers are pointing straight up. Your eyes are still focused on that brow point. So now you're breathing in through the left nostril. Long and slow and deep through that left nostril, inhaling and exhaling. And again, really paying attention to your navel, letting your navel guide you here. So as you breathe in, you're just letting that navel push out, get nice and big and round. Your belly's nice and soft. And then as you exhale, just drawing the navel in, breathing through the left nostril. So from a yogic point of view, right now you are breathing into the feminine or Ida channel. From a physiological point of view, you're stimulating the right brain, the creative brain, the brain that helps you think and be outside the box. Focusing on that brow point between your eyes, feeling the tug on your eyes, a bit of discomfort there. The breath itself is not difficult. It's a very simple way of moving into a very receptive and curious state of being. And for the things that Sarah and I are going to be doing in our retreat, the Arts of Sacred Intimacy, we're going to want you to be relaxed, open, willing to explore what it means to be intimate with yourself, and then intimate with the one you love. And again, this, when I'm using the word intimacy, it's not a code word for sex. It's actually about, how do I know you? How do I know me? And that may lead to an amazing sexual experience, but first it leads to the experience of wonder and awe at your own divinity, your own awesomeness, which will help you to see the divinity, the awesomeness of the person you love. Take a deep breath in, hold that breath. Just notice what your body feels. Maintain the hand posture, the mudra, and the eye posture, the drishti. Relax the breath. Breathing normally now. Your eyes are still closed. Focus on that brow point. And bring your hand down to your knees. Notice if your hands want to lie open or if they want to be down. Down means that you may feel the need to be grounded. Open means you have this readiness to receive. There's no right or wrong here. There's just noticing how your body responds to the practice. Now, very slowly, open your eyes. Now, if you're seated with somebody and you're facing them, look into their left eye. So again, the left eye, the left nostril, that channel of the Ida, the feminine channel, that's that soft and receptive part of ourselves. So we've just done a breath exercise to help you to allow yourself to receive more. So as you look into the other person's eyes, as you look into their left eye, the first thing you're going to see is them. But at some point, you may see a reflection of yourself. And then beyond that, you're going to see your own desires, your own expectations, your own fears. Because the other person is you. They're the gift to you. And when we resist the one in front of us, we're resisting ourselves, and we're also resisting the gift of this moment. There's all kinds of reasons to resist. But right now, for this moment, I'd like you to just feel into that openness that maybe the breath work released in you, or released you into. And maybe see that person in front of you more deeply than you've ever seen them before. Remember to breathe. Breathe through your nose. That'll slow your breath down. One of the things we're trying to do with our breath practices, and that we'll be doing with in the retreat, is actively working to address our habitual fight, flight, freeze responses. These are the things that we've learned to protect ourselves, and they serve lots of great purposes. But when we're with someone we love, they can get in the way of being who we more deeply are and of receiving who they are. And if you're doing this solo, just imagine that you're looking into your own eyes. You can do this exercise in front of a mirror too. It's a beautiful way of doing that really difficult thing, which is feeling the love for ourselves. Take a deep breath in, close your eyes, relax the breath. And if you want to watch Sarah and I, that's great, or you can just sit with your eyes closed and listen. Hi, Sarah. Thanks a lot for being here with me today, and thanks a lot for inviting me to come to your part of the world to host this retreat this winter. I'm getting excited about it. We've got people registered, and there's still space. The super early bird tickets are now gone, but there are still early bird tickets available.
Yeah, there's room for 4 more couples at this point. So, and we're November, December, January. We're still 4 months away, so it's pretty good.
Yeah, and if we get lots of people on the waiting list. We have plans for that too.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting that you led with this practice of receiving and being receptive. It's really nice. Well, for me to just receive and have the time to do a practice, but it also relates to a conversation I was having with a friend about their coupleship. And even though a couple may have been together for a really, really long time, they might still not feel comfortable being vulnerable with each other. And I think what you were talking about earlier about like intimacy doesn't mean sex. I think, well, just the word I've been flirting with this week is the word vulnerability, and how that plays into intimacy too. Because there's been parts of my relationship with Dan where I haven't felt like I wanted to be vulnerable and I wanted to put up a wall. And so there was no intimacy. Like he didn't feel connected, I didn't feel connected, and there's this like awkward energy because I wasn't able to actually soften to receive his love, because he wanted to be there for me in my vulnerability. He wanted to hear what I was going through. And inversely, there's times where he's not in that place and I want to hear where he's at. I want to hear him being vulnerable. And so I think it's really amazing that we can bring these practices to light and offer them to couples to help them be vulnerable, especially when it's hard.
Yeah, I agree. And I also think like what you've just described is, it isn't, in my experience, it's, and I use the dance metaphor all the time, and we will be doing some dance work, and I'll be using tango as a way of exploring some of the stuff. But there's we're always opening and closing, and that's, I think I'm a certified wedding celebrant, so I can marry people. But I mostly what I see is a lot of people who are excited about the opening part of it, of what that means. Like, oh my God, we're going to have this great party, or like I'm going to make this commitment and then everything's going to be good. No, you're making a commitment to going through this process of opening and closing. Like, from my perspective, I open and then I reach an edge where it's like, it's frightening. It's frightening to be that vulnerable. I'm not used to that. I'm not, that's kind of what I practice every day, is to like, how do I get comfortable on that edge of vulnerability? And then I always feel like a little bit of closing, and then I notice, okay, now I'm limiting myself and I'm limiting my relationship. Okay, I need to do something. And most of the tools that we're given in this culture have to do with our mind. They have to do with words and conversation, and as if talking is going to solve things. Well, for lots of us, especially us men, talking is a way that we actually get out of our bodies. We move into our heads and we problem solve and all that kind of stuff. But the work that we're going to be doing with people over the weekend is just some very simple ways of opening your body and then letting the mind follow. So what we just did with the breath practice, which is 3 minutes of breathing through one, the left nostril. A very simple way of just relaxing that somatic response to protect ourselves.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I think in our society, like, especially, I mean, for anyone, but especially if you have children, it's really just go, 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 go more. And like, maybe you have a chance to relax when you're sleeping, but even finding a time to sit down for 5 minutes where you don't have anyone asking anything of you, you don't have to do anything. And even for people without children, like, there's always something to do. There's always a way to be productive. And I feel like we're not offered, or we don't offer ourselves that time of like, let's just sit and drink tea and look over the porch. So our bodies are always in this like overstimulated activity. And when your partner's like, hey, I have a request, and you're just like, ah,
Exactly. Yeah.
there's nowhere to go.
And for, you know, for a lot of us men, one of our requests of the women we're with is we, you know, what, for us, having sex is a way of like opening and being close. We don't have much of an awareness of what's happening in your body or how you respond, and that for us to actually make that request just adds more demand. So again, you know, guys, doing something like, you know, just when you wake up in the morning, just taking a couple of minutes, 3 minutes, even less, to do a left nostril breathing practice will not only settle you in your own body, but it'll help you to feel where she's at. And you know, one of my teachers, well, you know, we talk about foreplay, but basically, what if we just changed our whole relationship to one of courtship? And that courtship involves all kinds of things. So from the masculine side, it's being in that place that we may have been in when we were dating, but doing that all the time. And that feels like a lot of work sometimes, but it's just preparing for more intimacy, more self-awareness, more capacity to feel into her, the woman from whom we want certain things, and allowing that to show up when it's ready rather than being a demand. Mm-hmm. So I'm just going to say this, I'm going to say this several times today, like 3 minutes. 3 minutes of left nostril breathing will help you, whoever you are, the masculine or the feminine, to just receive yourself where you are and the other. And that receptivity, when the other person feels that, oh, there's not a demand. There's just they see me, they hear me, they feel me. That feels good. I can trust this. Just for a moment, I can trust this.
Yeah, that's such a nice offering, such a nice practice.
So we're into 20 minutes here. Did you want to say anything to close?
Not really. I I suppose I flow more with the feminine energy and just work with what shows up. But
okay.
No, I love what practice you offered, and I love the conversation that we had, the brief snippets of like little nuggets, and yeah, just that we're really excited and looking forward to doing the work. It's February 23rd to 25th. For anyone watching who doesn't know, here in Golden, BC. And yeah, we're welcoming 4 more couples, so message Hans or I if you have any questions.
Super, thanks a lot. And to anybody listening to this, we are going to be doing more of these short Instagram lives to give you a taste of how we approach this question of the arts of sacred intimacy for couples. Mm-hmm. And we're going to be dropping some more practices, and it'll be great to see you at the retreat. But I think the most important thing for me is that maybe you'll be using these now in your relationship, whether you come to the retreat or not, and finding more joy there and more connection. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, these tools are so important, because especially if you come to the retreat it's, 3 days, but it's really important to keep this going. So it's nice that we'll be dropping in live before, and maybe we should drop in live after too.
Absolutely.
Keep the seeds planted, keep the energy strong.
Okay. Thank you very much. Happy Sunday to you and your family. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.